Hey, community-minded humans. We are so thankful for you to be here today. I am excited for you to get to meet Hannah Schmitt. She is the co-founder of the Treasury in Oklahoma City, which is a co-working space for women, which I'm really excited to hear more about because that is a really cool concept and how you came about that. But first, tell us about when you started it.
Okay, we opened in November.
Okay.
But before that, it was, probably a year and a half in the making of
it takes some time.
Yeah, developing the idea, finding the right place, all of that.
Now, where are you guys?
We're on Film Row.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just right near downtown, near the corner of Sheridan and Main.
Okay. And so what was the motivation? Why a co-working space for women?
So, at the onset, I had a conversation with Amber Cleansinger. She owns a female co-working space in Edmond.
Okay.
And I really just went to her asking how I could be more intentional in creating community with women. I wanted to support what she was doing. I wanted to kind of just create something that would inspire and encourage women, mostly women who are working for themselves in Oklahoma City. And she said they need a space.
Yeah.
Her space in Edmond had been very successful, and she kind of wanted to see that recreated in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I agreed with her. At the time, I was doing some online storytelling for female entrepreneurs, and just really felt like it was missing that human element.
Face-to-face,
yes. And women really need that and don't often have opportunities to do that just with other women. And so that kind of just put my husband and I on that path.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's great for women to have a space that they don't feel like they have to get validated by a man in what they're doing, and to have other women come in and step into that role and do that. Because sometimes, women, we can be catty instead of supportive. So I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So you just had, oh my gosh, she is the cutest little baby girl, Juniper, adorable.
Thank
and you have a 2-year-old son, Theo.
Yes.
So how do you balance this? I know you have a wonderful, Brian's very supportive, but it's hard.
Yes, it's really hard. It's impossible to do without help. We don't have family here. Whenever anybody volunteers to do anything for me, I take them up on it.
Yes, thank you, yes.
It's incredible whenever you ask for help. I mean, you really do get it. Everything from, we were getting ready to open, and I was very pregnant, and we had 5 tables that needed to be stained, and it was kind of on the to-do list forever. Through my pregnancy, I knew I didn't want to be the person to stain it.
Yeah.
It was on Brian's to-do list along with a million other things to get the space ready. And I remember I mentioned that to someone who, her name is Jen, and she owned the plant shop that was at the time right next door to our space. They've moved down the street a little bit.
Okay.
She was delivering our plants, and I said, I got to get these stained. She's like, I'll do it. I mean, just people like that, if you throw the need out there, are just so responsive to help. So
That's
just
great.
Asking for a lot of help and just having a lot of grace with myself. I think I spent the first year that Theo was born, I really put a lot of pressure on myself to do everything I was doing before, and really had to just come to grips with the realization that there's a season for everything. There are going to be seasons where I'm way more productive with work. This is not one of them.
And that's okay.
Yes, it's okay to just give yourself grace and say, I can't do everything I used to do, and that's okay.
Well, and you're not, like you said, it's a season. You're not meant to do that. And your kids are only little ones.
Yes,
so you've got to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So tell me about Creative Mornings. Tell us a little bit about what it is and what was your inspiration to bring that to Oklahoma City.
Yeah. I learned about Creative Mornings from Hetty Coleman. And I thought it sounded so cool. I started watching some of the Creative Mornings talks, and they were really inspiring. And I wanted Hetty to start it.
Okay.
And
in his spare time.
Yes. I wanted somebody else to start it. Anybody else.
Yes.
I wanted Creative Mornings to be in Oklahoma City. But I didn't want to start it. I had no event experience. It just wasn't, I didn't think that was really in my wheelhouse. But nobody else would start it. I talked to everybody I knew, everybody I thought was really qualified to do it, and nobody else wanted to. And Hetty finally said, that means you need to do it. And so, yeah. And I said no. And then because even just the process of applying, you had to send in an application video. I didn't have the tools and the resources to even put that together and make it happen.
Yeah.
But his encouragement was to, talk to other people about wanting to do that. And then sure enough, just like asking for help, like I told a few people I was interested in it. People stepped up, volunteered their time. I really easily and quickly found a co-host, found somebody to do the application video. And then from that point on was just, it's in the hands of Creative Mornings Global. If they wanted a chapter in Oklahoma City, then that was up to them. And so they accepted our application, and that was 2 Octobers ago they accepted the application, and then in December we had our first event.
Okay. So, wow. So it feels like it's been going for a while because it's grown.
It's grown tremendously.
Yes.
That first event that we did, we were expecting about 40 people. We had a Dunlap clotting in their free space. And we had about 75 people there, just packed in, standing against the wall.
That's great.
And yes, which was just such a great way to really solidify that thought that people really need more opportunities to interact face to face. There are tons of opportunities in Oklahoma City for people within their industry probably or within their exact stage of life. But there are very few opportunities where it is a free event that's meant to connect anybody and everybody. Whether you have a job, don't have a job, whether you work a corporate role or you work for yourself or you're a stay-at-home mom, it doesn't matter. And that was just really important to people, and they responded by showing up.
Just come get some FaceTime. And how often does that meet?
So that's a monthly event. Maggie and I hosted for the first year, and then we passed it off to some volunteers. So they're still organizing that every month.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Clearly it's meeting a need, that more people are coming. Okay, so how would you define your core value? Because we're going to talk a little bit about your being community minded and what you want to give back to your community. So it starts with your core beliefs and what's important to you. So how would you define your main thing?
So, and I'm going to speak for Brian and I both. Brian's my husband, co-owner. And really, in the way that we approached starting any business, whether we were going to do this or something else, we really wanted something that would build a community around women. We both agree that men have a lot of opportunities, especially right now in Oklahoma City. Just a lot of opportunities work-wise, in their personal lives, and the way that they spend their time. And women are just so different, usually in the way that they approach work and family and social time. And so we really knew that we kind of wanted to rally around women, because that seems to kind of trickle down into how their families function, and then, equip them to kind of make a bigger impact in their individual communities. And so that was just really, really important to us, is just providing them with some resources and relationships that would then just kind of trickle into everything that they do.
Well, I feel like you guys give value to women, and that makes them feel like, I can do anything. And then they can go back, like you said, to their individual influence circles and spread that value. So it just goes further. I'm
glad that's coming across, because that's really, a lot of women, especially the women who we're seeing at events and in our mastermind and through our membership, they work really hard and they're really ambitious. And sometimes they just lack the support to remind them that they already have everything that they need to be successful. So that's really something that the community can provide them.
They're already more than enough.
Yes.
They already have it. Okay, yes. I love that. So with you using the Made Possible platform, I know that you guys are just getting started with that. And when you get requests, say for somebody, I'm sure people come in and say, hey, would you help with this?
Yes.
Especially, because you guys are community minded anyways. How do you consider who you will support and, who you won't? Like, what's your process for that?
So we really align with businesses that kind of have that same value that we do in pouring into women. We get a lot of requests for using the event space, and it's really important to me that we provide that to other organizations that are doing the same thing in empowering and encouraging women. And there are a lot of great ones in town. We're not the only place where they can get that kind of support. And so whenever organizations come to us and they have ideas for events that would kind of go along with our mission, that's important to us to share our space.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. Well, and helping women. Just
Yes.
keep helping women.
Yes.
So you kind of have your own little niche of a community there with that, but what creates community for you?
That's a really good question.
Or what does it look like? And when community is happening well?
Yeah. I think really something that I'm learning more and more is that whoever is trying to create the community really has to start off being really vulnerable and authentic. That goes back to kind of when Maggie and I started Creative Mornings. We were very vocal about not having an event background, not having any idea what we were doing.
And that's okay.
Yes, and I think whenever you're willing to do that and say that, your community kind of just follows suit. We were able to build an audience that was really gracious with us, really interested in pitching in, really interested in supporting our speakers. We tried to make decisions on speakers, intentionally choosing people who might not have another platform to speak.
Okay.
So that's hard because you want the speaker to be refined and the event to look perfect. But we really just found that the community that we were wanting to foster would just be gracious with each other, and that starts with us admitting that we don't have it all together. And so kind of the same way that we treat the Treasury the same way, and just encouraging our members to be really authentic and vulnerable. We first have to say, like, we don't know what we're doing, or these are our challenges, this is how we're dealing with it, and then in turn they all buy in.
Wow. I'm hearing almost the exact opposite of fake it till you make it. It's seriously, and not that that's just a man thing, but focusing on the women's side of things, I feel like you're creating a community of, like you said, grace and being genuine, and people flock to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And isn't that interesting that I see so many women feeling like they have to look like they have it all together. But the more that I meet women face to face and give them opportunities, like our mastermind, for example, we sign a non-disclosure, and it's a small group of women talking about their specific challenges, and we're not competitors. We're not they're not each other's clients necessarily. It's just an opportunity for them to be vulnerable. And women don't really feel that way that we think. There's this reputation that women have that they're going to just be so competitive, and that I have to put my best everything on because I have to. And when you really do get to know the person, you realize, wait, I think that's just a misunderstanding that women have about each other a lot of times. And whenever you're thinking about yourself and your own performance, that comes out. But the more that you can just have those face-to-face interactions, I think that the easier it gets to understand that there are people who really will root for you. You just have to find them.
Well, and nobody has it all together.
Right.
And nobody's doing everything. Nobody is. Because you can't.
You can't.
Well, here's the deal. You could try to do everything, but you're not going to do it well.
Yeah.
So when you choose to be honest, I love that.
Yeah.
You guys are doing so good.
Thank
That's
you.
so exciting. So why is community important to you? You kind of talked about that a little bit, about supporting each other.
Yeah. I think, a big foundation that we just come back to again and again at the Treasury is, we have members who they don't need the co-working space. You know, we offer space with logistics like Wi-Fi and coffee and printing, and all that's important to some people. But it's so much more than that. Because maybe you have an office already, or maybe you don't have the time to commit, you know, a 9 to 5 every day to an office. But our members are there because they buy into supporting each other and cheering each other on. I think that it's so important whenever you're working on something alone. And I did for 4.5 years before this, I worked for a local family magazine, and everybody worked remotely. And so we all got a lot done individually, but it's really isolating. And when you have a problem, you get in your own head, right? You're just thinking like, I'm the only person who deals with this. I'm the only person who struggles this way. And without a doubt, every time that I take a minute to go around our other members and around everyone else in that community, I'm immediately pulled out of that, because there's just this realization and this reminder that everybody's going through their own junk.
That's right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody is learning. Everybody's figuring things out. It's just been the best push to remind me, kind of like I said earlier about everything being a season. I think that community helps you to remember, just to remember that, and just to be more aware and more gracious with other people. You know, if somebody else isn't doing something the way that you would do. I mean, everybody has their own stuff.
And that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay, because none of us have it all together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell me why it's important for you guys, especially community leaders, for your business to do good in the community, to give back. Why is that important to you guys?
So it kind of goes back to Creative Mornings. One of the rules from Creative Mornings Global, because that's a global brand. They have Creative Mornings happening in over 180 cities worldwide. Oklahoma City was just one of those. So they kind of outlined some rules of what we could do and what we couldn't do. And so one thing is, we had to ask the community to donate everything to us to create that event, because we don't charge anybody to come. And so, you know, you wear yourself out asking for free venue and coffee and breakfast. And as companies really start to buy into that and say, you know, some of them want to know exactly what they're going to get back in return. But the ones, to me, that are just really successful in just kind of creating that community around their brand are ones who say, yes, we want to give that, and what else can we do for you? You know, it just, that customers eventually become aware of a brand that really buys into that.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't really matter what scale or how you choose to give back, but I just think that it's really important. It's important for our members to know that we care about these other groups that otherwise may never have something that we can provide. Our members can really feel like they're part of that.
Well, I think it's good that you say that some people want to have a quantifiable, what am I going to get back? And you saying you may never be able to map that. But customers do eventually catch on to who really does care about the community and who's involved. So when they go to Creative Mornings every month and they see that business name, it's branding. You're branding that you're giving back. We had an experience, a few experiences with Creative Mornings in coming to sponsors and asking them to be generous. And then just kind of, I think we started out trying to quantify and trying to say, like, this many people will hear about your brand, and this many people will see this and maybe click on you, and maybe and that we really started to find that if a company was really interested in those numbers and those metrics, then it probably wasn't a good alignment for us, because we just weren't about that. We really had the most success with sponsors who just really wanted to help us and believed in what we were doing. Well, and clearly it's working.
Yes.
which is great.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so who is out there? Who do you see in Oklahoma City area who's doing community well? Besides you guys, because clearly you are.
We try. So there are a few. Jenna Worthen has a community called Mom Who Works, and she's just doing an incredible job kind of equipping women who are in this stage of career and kids. Mallory Aveline is another. She's having a pop-up event at the Treasury in July to preview a huge conference that she's putting together for women later this year. And she's just really, you know, one of those people who her theme for the pop-up is reinvent, which I think is so important for women right now who are kind of in that transition point.
Yeah.
And who else? I've just now become more aware of this, but there's a financial advising group called Weimer Brownlee, and they're putting together a really cool community event later this year called the Family Leadership Summit.
Oh, cool.
And they're just doing a really good job stepping outside of their brand to really look at families and what the entire family needs and how to kind of help that from a financial perspective, but then obviously let that trickle into everything else the family does.
But I like how you say that they're stepping out. They're not necessarily thinking how this is going to benefit us, but we just see a need in the community. And
I just found out about that Family Leadership Summit, and it's so funny because you would think when you look at the lineup, you know, you see, because tickets are like $25, I think, and everything that you get for that, and like defining your family's values and things like that, you think, well, how does this benefit them? But I think that's the point.
I love it.
They just want to pour back into people, whether they're the customers or not.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how do people learn more about what you guys are doing?
TheTreasury.work, the Treasury OKC on Instagram, and come to an event. All our events are listed on our website, and I'm a huge proponent for meeting face-to-face, so just come. Meet our members, meet other women who come.
Okay. Yeah. What about Creative Mornings? Does it have its own?
Yes. Okay. If you go to creativemornings.com, you can easily get plugged into the Oklahoma City page and join that community, and then you'll get emails and notifications whenever their events are.
Okay. So do you have any shout-outs? Anybody you'd love to just send some love today? Some podcast love?
Yes. My friend Andrea Fillmore and Mel Willis, those are the two women who took over Creative Mornings from us. And they are just doing a fantastic job creating that community and keeping it up.
Is Mel the MC?
Yes, they trade off.
Okay. So,
yes, they do a really great job. So shout out to them.
Okay. So if you had anything that you wanted to leave people, working moms or women who are wanting to start a business, or what's your soundbite that you would send out there?
I think the thing that keeps coming back to my mind, I've been so encouraged by lately, has just been that reminder that everything is a season. I think a lot of people in my stage of life, our friends are our peers, right? Other young moms. And whenever you have a toddler and a baby, you think the diapers never end. I'm always cutting up sandwiches. I'm always there's Legos. And whenever you build community with women who are on the other side of that, it can be so valuable to sit here and hear you say, cherish it because your 16-year-old might not want to hold your hand.
No, he's not.
So I think women in general need to really remember whatever they're going through as a season, and just as you would have grace for other people during that season, just have some grace with yourself. Don't overthink it. Don't feel like you have to conquer the world by a certain age or by a certain stage of life. Just embrace the season that you're in.
That's awesome. That's profound. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you go to the treasury.work,
Yes.
right? Make sure I'm saying that right, treasury.work. Check out all their events and creativemornings.com.
.com.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you.